hang out, just collaborate, talk about what we're working on, and see if we can't solve some problems in real time. So I'm going to bring in the usual suspects. Steven, Drew.
Yep.
Drew, how's the chapstick?
Oh, I didn't know we were live. It's bacon flavored. It's a giant bacon flavored chapstick. It actually tastes like the smell of dog food. I don't suggest this. They have a brand that needs solving. Bacon is not good for your lips.
Wait, you mean bacon is not dog food flavored?
I'm probably frozen.
No, you're not. You're good.
I don't know. I'm probably bad connection. I'm driving a car. All right, good. Uh-oh. Now the phone fell. I can't fix it. Oh, God, it's nothing. There you go.
Awesome.
I'm driving a big truck. Does it look like I'm driving a really big truck?
So we've been hanging out before we wwent live, and we all agreed Drew looks like the guy from Home Improvement. If anybody can remember that guy's name.
Well, Drew, you got to put the wheel like over your face. There you go. Don't make turns. Just drive straight. Drive straight. Just drive straight.
Okay, driving straight.
Let's see. We got a fourth person coming in. Jeremy, you there? You're muted. Well, he's muted right now, so I'm gonna take him out. There you are.
Yo.
What's going on, man?
Not much. Just see you guys. I see Steven. I see Drew. And I see Jarrett.
Nice, man. Where are you? Are you not suitable for a camera right now?
No, I should be. Oh, here. Hold on. There we go.
There we go.
You're doing a magic act. You disappeared. There he is.
Oh, look at that.
There he is.
And I even got us a little light here.
You're like our planted reporter downtown. What's it like down there?
Well, you guys know they've been repaving Dolphin Street. And if you didn't know, they started repaving Dolphin Street. I guess it would have been on Monday. So from Broad Street to down to about Cathedral Square, they've been working on. So
yeah,
like a lot of the time, sometimes the road's completely closed where there's nothing. There's no cars coming down, and they'll let some cars down. Right now, it looks like we got traffic going on, but it's been strange. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows, and you're following along, and it's probably strange where you are too. So, but downtown has been, very quiet. It's weird. It's just fucking weird. Sorry, it's just weird. It's really weird, but the times are changing, I guess is the best way to put it.
I think it's kind of opposite out in Westmobile. Like if I were to dangerously do this, bloop. Yeah. So the traffic out here, if it flips around, I don't know if it will or not. I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah. So the traffic out here, this is stupid. You can't see it now, but there's a good bit of it's still reversed. There's a good bit of traffic out here. Like there's a lot.
Yeah.
Huh.
There's a lot of traffic here still too. Like you see a lot of car traffic, but you don't. And you see people exercising, walking, but you don't see anybody going to the bars. You don't see anybody going to into the restaurants. A lot of the restaurants, as I'm sure you know, are doing takeout, which is I think they're all been pretty much broadcasting that. So I think some of them are doing well. At least maybe they'll hopefully make enough to pay the rent. I think that's kind of what everybody's goal is right now. You know?
Yeah.
Let's get the bills paid for the next couple of months. And I don't know how much it costs to run a restaurant, but I'm sure it's not cheap. It's probably costs more than it does here. So I think these guys are all scrambling to do whatever they can. A lot of them are doing specials, coming up with new things from to go, this to go liquor thing is, I guess, pretty cool. I would personally rather go to the ABC store just because my budget would like that more. I'm sure that it costs less there, but.
So was it previously okay to sell liquor to go, or is that something they gave a concession on?
I don't think so. I don't think you could do. You couldn't walk into a bar and buy a bottle of liquor. I don't think. But now you can. But again, I mean, I know a bunch of bar owners, and I know that they would rather me not say this, but I would just go to the ABC store. Like, you're going to pay. You know the difference between the remember college and you had the ABC store
Yeah.
price, and you always compared that to the package store price.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the bar price is going to be like double the package store price. So how is anybody going to afford that? But hey, man, people got money.
Well, I
So-
saw somebody is selling like to go bushwhackers or something like in a milk jug.
The Icebox is doing to go. Was doing their things to go, and I keep moving around trying to get the right frame. You know.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I guess I'm looking. I'm trying to figure out where my camera. Like I'm when I look this way, like I'm looking at the camera.
You got
I
it?
can't figure out how to look directly at the camera. Like it's weird. Like where's my camera
There you are.
at?
Nope. Yep. Nope.
I can't really tell. Screw it. But
You
it's been good. It's been good. It's been different. I mean, I'm sure you guys are doing the same thing. We're all figuring out how to get through this, you know, the next couple months, and then we're also figuring out. It just feels like this is going to change everything, you know. Like I've been saying to everybody, and I think most people seem to agree at this point, like out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, this thing is going to be one of the biggest events of our lifetime.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's going to have long-term effects from the macro level down to the micro level up. Like everything seems to be like it's going to change. I think that it seems like to me, if I had to guess, this would be something that would push us into a more futuristic sort of state. You know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know, like the application of more technology, which is, we already have a lot, but it just seems like this is going to change a lot of shit. Another completely different conversation is, and this kind of relates to my business, or one of my businesses. I do a print shop, and then we're a marketing agency, and then the third thing though, and the thing that I'm really the most passionate about is the event management.
Yeah.
Which is still kind of a little bit of a ways out. You know, it could be this year, it could be next year. It's coming. I just don't know exactly when. But that's really where my biggest passion is in wanting to do concerts and festivals in the future. And I feel like two things. One is the day that this thing is over, it's gonna be it's gonna be ridiculous down here.
Yeah.
It's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be Mardi Gras, Joe Cane Day, New Year's Day, Fat Tuesday, St. Patty. It's going to be every single day ever combined into one day, and it's going to last for like 5 days. It's going to be an all-out assault on alcohol. The day that this is over, it's going to be partying in the streets. But then from the entertainment industry, music industry standpoint, it will rebound. And it will start, the moment that the gatherings can start taking place again. And I think that for a company that is going into an industry, there is never a better time to go into an industry than when the industry has been completely turned upside down on its head, shaken and run through the ringer cycle.
Yeah.
So I think, the number one objective coming out of this thing for the music industry will be to get as many shows on the calendar as quickly as possible. And so if you're a company that wants to do shows like what we want to do, then we might be in a good position later in this year and going into 2021 to get started. I think we would have gotten started anyway. That's been my goal with our company, is to be an event management company. But I think that with this thing, it's going to put it's going to create a lot of demand as soon as the thing's over with. It's going to let that existing concert demand start to cycle again. And then I think it'll also create a lot of new demand because people will have gone like 6 months without a show, and they're gonna want to go back to back to back, So it's made me think a lot, guys. And I know it's doing the same thing for you. Like all I do is think about this: what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do this month? What are we gonna do next month? And then just also kind of from a holistically bigger perspective, like what are we gonna do long term? And it's given me a lot of time to kind of not necessarily solve anything, but at least think, put some time thinking about it. So
Yeah.
So Jeremy, I want to go back to the event part that you were talking about. Let's see. Last week I got kind of bored, so I wanted to go through different artists, Eve Six, different ones with numbers, Nine Inch Nails, whoever it may be. And I think my meaning in that was to create this kind of COVID-19 quarantine release party. Like all those people, all those groups with numbers in their names need to be a part of the tour, the COVID release tour, basically.
I like it. I like it. And I'm certain that you won't have a hard time convincing any band. Now, whenever the time comes where you can book bands again, make an offer. They're going to take it. If you haven't been getting paid for 3 or 4 months, then you're gonna jump on offers a lot faster. I got, you can, and also one interesting thing I think is that I think that this COVID-19 will forever be known as the mark in time where going live became a real thing.
Yeah.
I feel like before this, going live was kind of a thing, like people did it, but it wasn't like a real thing.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a big giant band or a really hot girl, then who's going to want to watch you live? But now everybody's going live. Like you can't pull up your Instagram. You can't pull up your Instagram without getting.
Oh, we're infiltrating everybody's feeds right now.
Yeah. It's great though. But again, this is kind of that thought process of what impact is this going to have on us long term for businesses, for marketers, for anybody. Is over our lifetime, we've just watched as things have become more and more digitized, right? And more online, and things that used to not be online are now online. And I think that with this and people seeing how effective the going live can be, it's going to put more commerce in there, I think. And it's going to put this type of activity it's going to become more, just more part of the daily routine.
Yeah.
Like you'll find, your business will probably, your overall cost right now are going to go down, right? Like at least your overhead from, if you added up all the dollars that you and your company and your employees spend to get to work and to do everything that it takes to and now you're figuring out, oh wait, we're probably just as effective, let's not say just as effective. You're effective in this way too. And in some ways you may become more effective like this, but then of course it's not going to replace face to face, but I don't know. Like I'm kind of in a daze, to be honest with you. I feel like that Dazed and Confused movie. Like I think a lot of people have made that meme so far.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. What about you guys? Tell me about you.
It's interesting. Like we still have clients that, we're all like, hey, how do I get the camera?
Everybody's shifting.
Making sure the biceps look good.
Yeah. You look good, dude. You look jacked.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
You got the light angled perfectly.
It's that big flood. Actually, I wish that. So it was cool that is Drew still on, or did he have to cut out?
He dropped off. He was on his phone driving around town.
I have actually never met Drew in person, but have been following along with everything that you guys do with them. And I heard about him a little bit before this. I did one little print job for a commercial shoot that they did around here, but I've been dying to meet Drew. And then of course he cuts out. But you've noticed he's been doing a really good job of doing some streaming stuff.
Yeah. So
on Craft Show.
We picked this up from him. He taught us this, and then we did an episode 2 days ago and taught Brooks Conkle how to do it, and then he's been doing it like twice a day since.
That's awesome.
But like that's the whole reason we started this was like we were just like we were just sitting there and we're like, what do we do? And it's like this is a great opportunity because we're all like sitting on our phones, on our computers, like all day long, trying to figure out how to get in the camera.
Yeah. I don't know how I get it. I get in the frame and then all of a sudden I'm out. Yeah. So, I mean, for you guys, you have a team of people, right? So you got to stay in touch with everybody for one. And this is probably an effective way for that, right?
Yeah. So we do Zoom calls. Like if we have a team meeting or a client meeting, we'll do a Zoom call. But we wanted to do something to just like get out into the social media world and just talk to people. And I was kind of sick and tired of getting emails about everybody's COVID-19 response because I really don't care what Atlanta Bread's going to do about COVID-19. And it just became overwhelming, like white noise at that point. And then you start to see all this advice, and it's like, hey, like don't give me advice on how to handle the coronavirus. Like this has never happened before. And so I was like, we just need a place where we can just talk to people. And then maybe in talking, something comes out and somebody who's on the show can offer value to the other person. And then you just create value out of thin air and you're not like out there trying to like sell snake oil.
There he is.
There's your boy, Drew.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
What's up, Drew? I was just telling the guys how I don't think I've gotten a chance to meet you in person yet, but I've been following along for a while. And also I noticed you jumped on the live streaming thing there pretty quick and pretty effectively. And I just thought that was cool. So
I appreciate it. Yeah. We did a YouTube live for a long time. It turned into like mostly about camera tech type stuff. And I don't care about that stuff so much, even though I own a production company. I'm more about problem solving than I am like technology. So we shifted. This gave us an opportunity to talk about it. And we keep finding more and more interesting interviews to find the loop stuff in. Like we have we interviewed that teacher, and the response from that teacher is, I got a guy I'm trying to schedule a live stream. He lives in China, but he had taken a motorbike trip in Vietnam and now is trapped in Vietnam. And it seems like a really cool conversation as well. So whatever, that's what we're doing.
that's awesome. And I noticed that too, Jarrett. Whenever you put this out initially, you said, "Hey, this is to gather, this is to talk, this is to communicate, but also problem solving, because that gives us something to do, right? There's an actual result. It's great to talk to you guys. It's just I've never met, Drew and I haven't met face to face. It's great to meet you, Drew. Those are cool things, but like also, what if we can come out of this with some value?
Yeah.
Again, meeting somebody is valuable, but
yeah.
So yeah.
So what about like your print shop? So do people have the ability to? How's this affecting your? Yeah. There you go. Quiet.
It's definitely affecting it. I mean, nobody's. At the same time, I got to take a little bit of the burden or the onus myself, because since this thing has started, it's caused me to kind of really, like, almost in a way, shut down. I know that's terrible, but it's like my marketing has just shut down. Again, I'm still a one-man shop, so it's like, it's not like I was doing a significant amount of marketing beforehand for the print shop, considering that I've got these other things that I do too, which coincidentally are marketing, but it's for other people. But with here, you're not getting as many calls. But then, the other day I got a call, or somebody stopped by, one of the downtown business owners, and they're like, "Hey, we want to redecorate our upstairs, and we want to get, a bunch of canvases printed." Well, fortunately, canvas isn't cheap, so that'll end up equating to, a decent sized job. But yeah, I mean, it's totally affected me. People aren't. I don't know. It's strange. Like, some people aren't doing anything. They're sitting and they're not going to make any decisions right now. But at the same time, other people are doing their spring cleaning. Other people are doing their redecorating. Other people are cleaning up their gardens. So a place that I work with, Simply Garden Express, that's just opened up there on Government Street. Their business is doing well, according to them whenever we stop by. And it's because plants make people happy. And also people are using this time to do their DIY projects, with gardening being a big one of those. So I've had a lot of work from them, which has helped me out significantly this month. And I think that, just you're not, I'm reliant more on bigger orders right now. I'm not getting a lot of small orders, so I kind of got to go after the bigger orders, hopefully land one or two, hopefully pay the rent kind of situation, and then just figure it out. I mean, that's just what we're doing, is just daily figuring it out. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't, but it's been slow. But at the same time, this print shop's only been operating since August of last year. So I came from manufacturing before this, and one of the things that you look at in manufacturing the closest is your capacity utilization. You have this many machines, they can produce this much per hour, and you just let it as it's happening, and you want capacity utilization to be high, right? And here, even what's up, Brooks?
Hey, I didn't want to say anything. I was listening.
Even here, hey, buddy. Hey. Good to see you, man. Even before.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you as well. Even before this started, our capacity utilization would like, some days we're printing all day. Some days we're not printing at all. It's just kind of dependent upon, when orders coming in. It's been. And with spot business, it's just not as predictable. So it has caused me to put a lot more attention on recurring business, just because that takes the pressure off.
Yeah. I think it's definitely going to make people like stronger, better, faster. Because everybody's like in panic mode, like you're trying to figure something out. And when we come out of this, like you're still going to be in that mode. Like it's still in the back of your mind that, oh my God, that's a possibility that can happen again.
Yep.
And so while we're all like trying to like figure out what's the next thing we're going to do, when we're making decisions as fast as possible, you're going to continue to do that after this. Like you're not going to be like, okay, just kidding, let's relax.
Good point.
Drew, you and I talked about this earlier today on the phone. We were talking about how the flu is just a season now. So what if this is not a one and done, right? This coronavirus is a season at this point. So say March of 2021, what if there's another outbreak, right? What if this just starts to repeat itself?
It was based. We started that convo, and I had a convo with a film industry friend yesterday, talking about film production stuff. And if you think about it, we used to have pilot season, not really in Alabama, but in Los Angeles and some in New York. But there's pilot season. The same sort of thing could happen here. Where we have literally a production season where we are allowed to be in groups, and we can. So like, what happens if there's a 6-month window where you either get a bunch of content built, like even Jeremy's stuff, like people getting all their stuff ready, and then Jeremy's production window becomes that 6 months after he can interface with people. Like that's when he produces product, and it turns us into a craftsman society, a craftsperson society, much more where you have like 6 months to assemble the product. I don't know. Maybe that's. I'm not saying it's a great thing. Maybe it's a good thing. I'm trying to make some lemonade right now, or
well, the craft show will
give me some lemonade, man.
Brooks, man, you've been wearing out some Facebook and some StreamYard, man, huh?
Dude, I am morphing literally by the minute. So I just did it. I had a call, a show, a call. I mean, thanks to you guys, this literally started like a day and a half. Wait, when was that yesterday? I don't know, man.
2
I'm losing
days.
track of time.
2 days ago. You're already like 12 episodes in.
Yeah. So, I wasn't joking. I was like, okay, StreamYard, I'm on. So that night I figured it out, signed up. Next day I was like, all right, I'm going to figure out how to use the StreamYard. Then I clearly we didn't know what we were doing, but we did it anyway. And I was like, well, what's the best way to learn? Go live on your page and do a show. And then, so, I would say this is the fastest I've ever learned and improved upon using a product. And then the one I just did a call at noon. At the end of that one, I talked. It was a guy named Rock Davis. We talked about like marketing and all kinds of stuff. At the end of that call, he's like, "Hey man, let's talk about this. Like, what if you did a general intro video instead of me?" Like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, great idea!" And he's like, "What if you did this?" I was like, "Great idea." And like, so I'm gonna break it up to be more show like. So have an intro video, cut to me, and then bring on the guest. But I'm actually going to plan it out. Like up until now, I haven't planned any of that out. So I told him, I was like, man, my next episode, you're going to see these changes, and then hopefully they actually work. I mean, but we'll find out. So
yeah. So I played around with it a little this morning when I was setting this up, and I took the logo off. So like I started putting things like that on there. So you can like flash up a card, and then actually, if you go to within the overlay, so that's in the overlay section, you can upload an intro video.
Yep.
So you can have like, the opening sequence to your show.
Jared, come on, man. Get caught up, dude. That's what I used 3 hours ago, man.
Before you guys go start patting yourselves on the back, let's go back to Monday when Crash Show here like launched the whole thing. And you're
starting a revolution, dude. You're starting a revolution.
I know, but you never want to be number one. I don't want to be the first guy. I want to be number two. The first guy is the one everyone rips off. So apparently I'm the first guy, and I get it now.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, Drew, are you not actually an investor? I'm like, dude, how did you find this? Because it seems like a smaller tool. It's very well made, but it still seems very like mom and pop. Like how did you find it?
It's just conversation. I mean, from being on the tech side, like people just bring it up.
Like word of mouth.
I give all credit where credit's due. There's a guy that streams with us named Jeff Fagan, and he was like, "Hey, some guy sent me a link to this. You should look at it." And then I went down the rabbit hole first, and then now he's broadcasting in it. It's all these guys. It's just kind of I'm a little worried that it's going to spread so fast that pretty soon
crash.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I've kind of thought the same thing. I'm like, oh no, man.
Well, Facebook's having issues currently. Facebook's having some, and luckily, what's crazy is StreamYard will show you. They'll say, "Hey, Facebook Live is having problems." I don't know if you know that banner. So Facebook's having issues with. There's so many people streaming. The only thing I've noticed though is that StreamYard seems to give us a little bit of preferential treatment. So if you're just doing through your phone Facebook, which is great. I don't think you get the same level of treatment as you do if you're going through something like StreamYard.
Okay, and like the other thing so the other tool, if it was a day later, I probably would have already signed up for this other one. I think it's b.live, I think. So that's what Rock Davis, the guy I was talking to, that's what he uses. And very similar to StreamYard, like literally almost the same thing. But man, that conversation with you guys 2 days ago was so good. You're like selling me live, and I was like, okay. All right. I was like, StreamYard it is. So, but yeah, I mean, the other one looked pretty solid too, but yeah, they look like really similar products. So,
yeah, I found another one called Restream.
Yeah. .io, I think.
Yeah.
I saw that one too. Yeah.
Which looked pretty similar to StreamYard.
This might be a dumb question, but wouldn't it make sense for Apple to build this in?
Probably.
We're all using iPhones, right? Drew, are you on camera or are you phone? Phone?
I'm at my office now, but even then, I'm an Android guy.
Yeah, me too. I'm on my laptop.
Cameron right now, so you're on the laptop. So it seems like to me, this is like a group FaceTime for business, right?
Sort of, yeah. But it's got other capabilities. So
it seems like the FaceTimes would start to build out more functionality to be able to do stuff like this.
It could, I guess. I mean, that'd be pretty advanced, but like But Jeremy, man, some of the stuff this thing can do, like intro, outro, overlays, and then at the end of it all, you getting a recording of it, audio and video. It's pretty sick. It's insane, like what you end up getting.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Just thinking about this becoming more, getting used more on a daily basis.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's something that businesses are going to use more and more and more, then everybody who's in the video communication sector is gonna want to play in it, I think.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I
mean, the thing I really like about it is I actually really like how we're using it, because like I want people to come in and just join the talk, right?
That's so
like
cool.
With a Zoom, I don't think you do that. Like you have to send them the link and then they have to come in or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing that sold me on it was the instant ability to bring and accessible guests. Like it's been so much easier for me to approach people, whether they're named people or not. Like we're going to have, I think, Clayne on, who's an actor friend of mine. It was like in some decent stuff. It's much easier for me to send that link to him or his publicist or their publicist and have them be like, oh, it's that easy. So like for guys like me that are just constantly wanting to interview because I enjoy that kind of content, it's made it 10 times easier to get those interviews and more accessible. I did one yesterday with somebody that just doesn't like this kind of stuff at all. Just send them a link. And I didn't go live because this one also allowed you to record it. So what I did was I recorded the interview, treated it live, and then I'll post link it. And so when I do a post link premiere, which is what we did with the teacher the other day, we got fantastic view numbers in terms of metrics. They were through the roof, but then we also got a bunch of views on our audio. So what I did was I dropped the Facebook, YouTube, and the podcast all at 2:30 p.m. yesterday. And the collective numbers on that were way better than I thought they were going to be. They're not like, oh my God, I'm viral. I'm the next Drudy Pie. Huh? What the hell is Drudy Pie? I was like,
next Joe Rogan.
Hey,
Drudy Pie. I'm totally calling you Drudy Pie, man.
I'm down. I'll take this number, 100 million viewers, 100 million people subs. If you think about that, if you get $1 per view, like let's just $1 a day from YouTube. Just consider that.
Keep changing your pricing, man.
They're cheap now. It's like a penny.
Hey, Drew, I'm gonna ask you a question. The Premiere. This is probably a dumb question for me, but I don't know how to do it. That's like next on my list to figure that out. The Premiere, is that something that I do? Do I do that in StreamYard or do I do that?
No, you do. You do. So you can't premiere a live stream, right? You can schedule a live stream, which I highly suggest. Mighty did that. We've been doing that. Anytime you guys do any of these, if you're using something like StreamYard or even just Facebook in general or YouTube, anytime you plan to go live, I highly suggest creating a scheduled event so that you can share that and at least help get the word out. When you do a premiere, that's a piece of content that's already been generated that then you go into, you upload, you set a future date, you set it as a premiere, and then you can actually interact in real time as it goes on. I'm going to do a premiere later today for Ether. I'm going to drop a short film we did. Most expensive short film I've ever made. It was a lot and it went nowhere, but that's okay. I'm going to drop that and then we're going to premiere that piece out. And if you want help, I'll jump on a call with you and show you how to do it in real time if you need.
Appreciate it. I'll watch you. I'll see if I can deconstruct, reverse engineer.
It's not hard. It's really not. It's
All
not
right.
bad.
I'll Google it. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, can we talk a little bit about branding stuff? We had started on that path, Steven. Can we talk a little bit about branding? Because I ran into that today on my shoot can't really talk a lot about my shoot, but I did a socially distanced safe shoot today, by the way. Like that's brutally hard. It's not.
That kind of sounds creepy, actually.
It is. It's really weird. And then when they hand you the mic, the new mics we got, let me grab them. Hold on. So these are my new, I borrowed these from a friend. These are my socially distant microphones, right? So these are cool though. All right, so this is the whole pack. So the mics actually come off like this. So I give this to them, and all they do is they take the mic and they just, if you don't mind seeing, it's kind of hard to hide them, so I wouldn't use this on all things.
Mm-hmm.
Take the microphone and you do that, and it looks like a pin. And the audio is fantastic. It truly is. I mean, it's not windshielded, so you have to deal with that. But what's great is I would take like a baby wipe or antibacterial wipe, and I would have it sitting on it away from me, like 6 feet away, and the person could come up and pick it up, and I'd show them how to, like all you do is clip it to your shirt, so that the guests could basically mic themselves. Anyway, in that shooting process, it came up. We were at a restaurant, but it came up like, especially now, everyone is trying to figure out how to further their brand in this moment, because right now everyone's brand is being forced to change, whether it's temporary or permanent. Have you guys had conversations, and this is for anybody, but if anybody had conversations about what that looks like now? Because Craft Show's brand is even being altered, right? We're doing a lot of live stream content now. We're doing a lot of interviews. We're doing a lot of stuff that's all part of our production package, but we're not putting it out as really high-end composed videos because we can't. So what are your thoughts on that? Just out of curiosity, what are your thoughts on how brands can adapt to branding, just overview wise? Because I think that's really valuable right now. And I'll just take one comment off the air.
I mean, I think it's interesting because some people are putting the pedal to the metal, and other people are pumping the brakes. And my personal opinion is that you should be putting the pedal to the metal, but what you expect to get out of it's going to have to change. So, especially depending on what your business is, right? Because you might sell something that like nobody's going to buy right now, but you want to buy the attention right now. Especially, it's interesting now because we're in this digital age where you got Facebook. I mean, people are spending hours on end on Facebook right now. Like everywhere you look, they're telling you that internet usage is up 50%, and that Facebook's having problems live streaming right now. So the impressions, the eyeballs are out there just waiting to consume your brand, right? The challenge becomes that you can't actually necessarily sell anything. So you've got to understand what you're buying is brand awareness right now. You're buying top of mind awareness, you're buying brand awareness, and you're going to capitalize on the tail end when we come out of this. That's my opinion.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's always been about, for a brand, it's always been about consistency as well. You know, we can always talk about the products we've got and, you know, tout that and feature certain things, but as long as you're consistent and present, you're gonna be up there, even if your product's not that great. So finding a way to continue to be consistent and to continue to be in front of the consumer or an audience, you need to do that. Even if you're not selling something, you still have to be present for when you are able to sell something or when somebody's ready to buy. In this instance, there's only a few things that people are probably ready to buy. And as time goes on and depending on how long we have to self-quarantine like this, people are going to not buy as much. I mean, just frivolous purchases are not going to be a part of it. So as long as you can keep your brand present and consistent and find a way to do that, that'd be the best thing.
Do you feel like at-home goods have a benefit right now over that of or downloadable, anything in that capacity? Do you feel like they have a major benefit right now over that of like obviously services, but do you feel like the at-home goods, like meaning shipped in product, so to speak, do you think that has an advantage over anything right now? Like does shipped have a better situation than other stuff?
Certainly. I mean, so there's kind of like two things at play in my mind right now. The first one is like, you've got to identify what people's needs are and whether or not you can actually add value to them. So like some people are trying to just figure out a new way to deliver their product or service, regardless of whether it actually is of value right now. And I think that's the wrong approach. If it doesn't add value and it's not something people need, like you're kind of being rude and insensitive, and you're like a used car salesman. No offense to used car salesmen, but that's the problem. Now, if you have something of value and it's something people need, it's your moral obligation to deliver it to them. So if Shipt or whoever else knows how to deliver groceries better, faster, with broader reach, they have to do it. If you're a grocery store, you got to figure out how to do it. If you're a doctor, you got to figure out how to deliver your skill set because people absolutely need it right now. But if you're selling, I don't know, luxury watches, you gotta retool your messaging because that's not exactly high on the needs list right now, right?
One of my
So I think you
friends is from college is a yacht broker, and I just saw a Facebook post yesterday where he sold like a several $1 million yacht. I'm like, who's buying a yacht right now?
That's a different kind of quarantine approach there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's actually safer than if you're on the yacht.
He's got a moral obligation to sell yachts right now. And that's the thing is like, it's almost like in your head, right? Like if you can convince yourself of it, then you could probably pull it off. This guy's convinced that people need yachts right now. Or, so I don't know. I think that says like, you got to determine first whether or not you actually add value. And then two, how do you deliver the value? And so, if you're a retailer and you sell physical items, maybe the value you add isn't the item anymore, it's something else. And then how do you get that out into the world?
Yeah, I think it's a convo that's worth having, like for like Jeremy, I know small amounts about it, but for example, we're putting out just content, but is there something like BizCon is another one, Brooks, you can put out content to help lead up should that event change or whatever happens. I don't know if what you're going to end up doing, but so like, does Jeremy in a position where he can potentially come up with content he can generate? Like, is that an advisable approach that any business could take? Could you generate content to build a sort of relationship with your audience that once that relationship is there, you've built on it, when things go back to where it's like, hey, we can start doing things normal again, or people feel quote normal. I don't think that'll ever happen, but people feel normal. Then you have that relationship. Is there value in that? Is that part of that branding concept?
I think 100%, man. 100%. Like if you're any business and you hit a wall of like us, for example, being in the event-based business and promoting events, and also being in the real estate with Airbnb, on the personal, some of our business ventures, just imagine what's happened to us. I'm surprised I'm waking up out of bed. I mean, we straight up hit a brick wall. But I think if you're any business and you find yourself with time, you have a couple of choices: chill on the couch and watch Netflix or hang out, or like create content. I think the answer to what you just said is create content, because I think any business can do it. We're talking about like gyms that close down. The ones that are going to win on the other side are the ones that are like doing online streaming classes with their people right now, because when it opens back up, they want, that's their people. So they're keeping their crew together. I think any business, that's just my opinion. I think any business, if you have time, you can turn around and create some kind of content for your people. It may be different. It may not be a live stream or whatever, but you can do something to connect with somebody that can connect with your brand. And then on the other side, they're now your people. I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah. I think this is actually a really, really valuable tool. Like the timing of Drew finding this and telling us all about it, and then us taking the idea away from him.
Thanks, Drew.
Yeah.
2020, coronavirus hits, Drew discovers StreamYard.
Yeah, and then everyone takes it.
Drew, you're muted, man.
Oh yeah, you're muted. Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah, let's just drop Drew off here.
That's back to what Jarrett was talking earlier. Everybody, this is a great, and Brooks, like, it's a great time to do marketing, right?
Yeah,
because
but if
you're a lot of your income streams are altering. I'm not going to say drying up. It's going to depend on your business, right? But
mine's beyond dried up.
Stream,
I mean, for the last week.
Yeah,
I don't. No, I mean, yeah, it's definitely put on hold, man. I mean, I'm 100% honest about it. Like,
yeah, with BizCon, yeah, of course, events are done, right?
Yeah.
Right. But for like anybody who whose income stream is now being affected, of course, you're going to respond to that, right? For you, Brooks, like in events, like if you can't have events, then what can you do? You can prepare for the events whenever the events come back, right? And so, and
100%.
that's where you're absolutely right. Content right now, and I feel like an idiot because I'm supposedly a content company too, and I put out very little content. I can give you all the excuses as to why I don't do it.
Now's your time, baby. Now's your time.
Here's my excuse. I got a print shop, a content / marketing company, and an event management company that I'm planning for the future. And I'm glad this came up, because whenever Jarrett, you talked about wanting to solve problems. I think that's the biggest problem I have is I'm wanting to do 3 different distinct things that I think are all very well vertically integrated, but still distinct. And so when you have a print shop, you have to run the print shop. You got to generate orders, you got to design orders, you got to produce orders, you got to install orders, you got to talk on the phone to the customer, and it takes all the time away that you have. It takes all my time away from doing these other things that I have. But like whenever a crisis hits, you start thinking about, you respond to it. Just using like the music musicians as an example in the music industry, you notice right away, like as soon as gigs are canceled, like concerts are canceled, festivals are canceled, shows are canceled, immediately they all start going live and putting their, Venmo and PayPal and all those things up so people can donate to it. And you see all these live series is pop. There's probably, I'm going to throw a number out, but this is just a swag guess, but I bet there's like 20,000 new Facebook platforms that have some variation of the word quarantine in it. Like my friend down at Lure, Ryan Van Dyke, he just started this thing called Quarantunes. And I've seen like the social distancing project. There's all these new platforms that are popping up in response to this. And so like and that's what they're finding a way to continue to connect with their audience. Then they're finding a way and hopefully make a little bit of money off of it. But for like, I'm just thinking about, for me, for example, like all I'm doing right now, I'm working on orders and we're getting some orders and it's nice. And we have some reoccurring business on the marketing side and that helps us, literally pay the rent, right? But when it comes to the downtime, it's preparing for, it's using it as like in the manufacturing world, you have downtime, planned downtime and unplanned downtime. And whenever planned downtime hits, it's because you're doing a maintenance outage, you're doing a repair. But when unplanned downtime hits, you find like, what's the next best thing I can do? And I just agree with you guys all so much that putting out content seems to me to be the definite answer, because you're put like into Steven's point earlier, you're keeping your face in front of your audience. And I think and you're also like helping, you're building, like with you, Drew, like, you said you're doing a lot of live streaming now. I'm seeing you, all over the internet now. And I'm sure that means that a lot more people are seeing you that haven't seen you before, And so at the end of the day, it has this like really bad effect right now on a lot of businesses, but I think that the net gain long term is going to be good for a lot of people.
Yeah. Jeremy, you should do this with like, do you know like famous musicians? Have you built a network of famous people?
Yeah.
So I would create some sort of like private group or like email list of people that want to watch you like interview these well-known people.
That's a great idea. That's an absolutely great idea.
And it doesn't have to cost them money. Like, just like post on Facebook, be like, who would like to see, well, you're gonna have to get the guest first, but then be like, who wants to see, I don't know, Marshmallow or whatever. And then just start getting emails and building an audience. And then once you get your event management company, now you got a whole database of music fans that you can market to.
You want to hear a fun fact?
Yeah.
Brooks Conkle down there is the person I can attribute to getting some of my very first interviews with bands.
Hey, nice, man.
So, hey, Brooks, let's talk later on. Let's talk offline. We might have to get something going with those band interviews again.
Yeah, man. I could find one right now and put it up. Let's see, find one maybe. Trying to think of where they are. But heck yeah, man.
But
cool.
No, that's a great idea. I think I love, and Drew, I heard you talking about interviewing people, and I love to interview people too. I think Brooks, you do too. I think all of us do in a way, but it's so much fun. It gives you something to prepare for and something to do. And if it's done right, people absolutely love to see like these famous musicians and famous actors just talking normal to people. And that's what I've always tried to do with my interviews. This is not off topic, but kind of that show, you guys probably watch it, Off Camera with Sam Jones.
Mm-mm.
You've ever seen that? It's on HBO. It wasn't HBO, but
I'm not.
Drew, you really would. I think everybody would. But Drew, he just interviewed, like he's a director, producer, photographer, been in the film industry for a long time, and he just calls his friends, Matt Damon, can we do an interview, or whoever, and they just talk. And it's funny, they shoot on a red camera, but they do it in black and white. It looks great though. And anyway, I agree. Your point, Jarrett. That was great. I just went on like a long wherever, but
Yeah.
it's a good idea. I think I've always, I knew, like, so my, like, long story short with me is when I left my former career was steel manufacturing. And then I was literally in there, and I was like, one day I went to a music festival, and I was like, I just want to go into the music industry. I don't know how, I don't know anything. I just know that I don't like the industry I'm in now. I want to go into the music industry. And after about a day, I was like, okay, I think the cameras are going to be my fastest way in. I see how much, content goes on with festivals and stuff, and I think that that's my fastest way to get there. But it was not long after being in there that I realized that I had the business experience and background and training and education to not be the photographer or the videographer, but to be the event producer. And that's really what I've been working on for the last 3 years, is going from becoming a content company, which is what my company was and still is, but to becoming an event company. But I've kind of placed content production on the back burner for probably the last 2 or 3 years. One, because the print shop just kind of came out of nowhere, not literally, but I never planned or intended to open a print shop. And then one day I stumbled onto it, on the idea, and got into it and realized, okay, whether I do this long term or not, I know that it can be valuable for marketing companies. It can be valuable for event companies. It can be valuable for anybody. So it can serve as a resource, right? But it's taken all of my focus away from content creation, especially for my brand and for like the band stuff. So Brooks and I did interviews, 2 or 3 years ago. We did a couple, and then after that, just haven't done any since then, because I've been working on other stuff. But knowing that one day I'm going to, put on a concert, put on a festival, then I think I'll kick that content engine back in on the music side, the interview kind of stuff, which there really isn't any reason why I shouldn't do that now, because I've got the relationships and I've got the equipment and I've got all that stuff. But I guess I've kind of been waiting to let the event management mature a little bit more, because that's the bigger focus, as opposed to just doing an interview with a band. But at the same time, interviews with bands are so fun. Why not do them now?
So that kind of brings up something that I think is going to be interesting. So I don't know how many people know what you did before this, Jeremy, but I mean, you had a job at a huge steel company. Like, you were in a very good spot in life, I'm sure, with a lot of upward momentum. I mean, you could have risen through the ranks, and you took a huge leap and went after what you wanted to go after.
Right.
Your timing would be very challenging for most people. Like, most people aren't going to just leave a good paying job with a good company. But now, in the environment we're in right now, I mean, people are losing their jobs, they're losing their pay. And now they have the opportunity, and that might be their only opportunity, is to start something.
Mm-hmm. I don't really know how the manufacturing is it taking a toll, like car manufacturing. Is it hit right now by this yet?
I don't know.
I mean, it would have
I'll
to be if people. I mean, people are not going to spend and invest on a big purchase. So,
right.
And
car plants have like 3,000 or 4,000 people inside of them at all times.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they probably have to shut down. But yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see, like there's beyond just like existing businesses. Like, I bet there's a lot of like ideas happening and people like coming up with new things, and chasing those dreams now, because that might be their best option.
Yep. You're absolutely right. It's like, what does a business, like, if you ask the question to us, like, what do we do right now if things, if income streams, soften? What do? We think our businesses are going to survive this. We're going to have to figure it out. But if you're laid off, if you don't own your own business and you're laid off, you gotta pay the bills. So you either go to labor finders or you get creative, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Again, I don't know how good labor finders is going to do you right now either.
Hey, just kind of like random side note here, but it's definitely related. Just to make sure that you guys, as all small business owners, make sure you're paying attention to the SBA, the stimulus package, like what's going on. Just I'm sure y'all are in tune, but if you're not, like, be paying attention. And there's two separate products. There's the SBA has a loan out right now that potentially is it's not a part of the stimulus, but it is something you can actually apply for right now. If you go to sba.gov, if you're a small business, I would recommend looking into that. That may actually get turned off when the stimulus comes into play. You could always choose not to take that loan, but the terms for that will be insanely favorable. And it's going to be used, you have to, obviously you're using it. You have to be a business that's affected by COVID-19. Who's not as a small business owner, kind of, but you're talking terms around like 3.5 or 3.75% for those. And as far as I know, that's just like a straight up loan, but that's a direct deal with the SBA. You're not dealing with a bank. You are applying through the SBA. So just something to keep in mind. And then stimulus stuff that's coming down the pipeline is insane. I don't know if y'all have like looked at that, but I don't know. I mean,
some of it just seems too good to be true, though. Like
it seems insane. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, how's this going to work?
0%. And then I heard somebody say, like, again, all news channels are garbage water, but listening, except for this one and Craft Show and anybody else in live stream. I mean, seriously, like, we laugh about it, but there's more accurate news in this conversation than there is on the actual TV, because none of us are trying to spin the news angle to make more money. There's no commercial breaks on this stuff, right?
Yeah,
so anyway, sadly attacking my own industry and taking my
Hey, Brooks, piggybacking on that.
What's that?
Brooks, piggybacking on what you just said, we're all very interested in these things, right? This SBA loans, and us business owners are very interested in the stimulus. Somebody, I don't know who it is, but somebody is going to become the content king of that. Right?
Well, dude, it's going to happen. We're doing it right now because it's going to happen so fast. Like, this stuff has to come down the pipeline in like 30 days, or it's pointless, man. And I think Drew's about to hit. I feel like Drew's about to go into some of this stuff, some of the craziness of it. Go ahead, Drew. I didn't want to
so
it's insane.
So the stuff I heard was like 0% loans that essentially will eventually be forgiven. So they work like a grant.
The majority of it forgiven. I'm going to confirm everything you're talking about right now. Yep.
What? Like, how does this even work in relationship to, okay, that's cool. It's great. I need it. Cause without doing too much, we are in a spot where Jeff is going to be somewhere else. He won't be in Mobile, Beardface, potentially with another relationship. So that means my gear's cut in half, which it would be great. And lets me expand the business for me and Jeff to keep growing. But then what are the terms of that? Because somewhere I'm going to get hit, and I don't trust it. I'm terrified of the fact that as a small business owner, I get my tax season comes and I remember why I hate being middle-class small business. I get very frustrated. Money doesn't just disappear. It's like energy. It doesn't disappear. So where does it come from to pay this stuff back? How's that going to happen? I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
So I actually don't either. What's the current U.S. debt? What are we, like 18 trillion? Is that about right? 23 trillion? Is that right?
Just add 2 more trillion to that.
Add 2.2 to that. Whatever it is.
Look, guys, they just went over to the printing press and they said, "Let's hit print real quick," and we're all good.
Well, they should have gone to Jeremy Wolf and got it printed from Jeremy Wolf.
We should have gone there, man.
Jeremy, just hit print, man. What have you been waiting on this whole time? You're supposed to be printing on money.
All on an FBI watch list.
Well, no, here's what we can do. We can all come here. We can print all the money you want, and then we'll do. Well, actually, we won't all come here because we can't, but we'll continue this going on, and then we'll explain the stimulus to all, and then all the business owners will watch us because they really want to know the details. You guys can explain it to them, and
Yeah.
then we'll get all their business. We'll get all their business because they'll be watching us, and they'll just be like, "Oh, let's do business with them."
If the
We
feds
get a
are
bunch of new
listening, I
clients
won't
and
be
a bunch of print
attending.
jobs.
I'm not going to be there.
We don't need any more business. We're printing money, guys. What are y'all talking about business for?
Brooks Conkle will not be in attendance. Feds, U.S. Fed. Yeah.
Brooks, I
Federal
just sent you
government.
an invite. We'll see you there.
I'll see you there. So, hey, Drew, further on that, yes, I think that's correct. The majority of it potentially is forgiven when paid. Man, I have a really good overview that someone kind of sent a breakdown. But in regards to like your rent, if you don't lay off people that you're potentially about to lay off because you don't have the money to pay them, I mean, like a lot of people are in that position. Or if you hire those people back, like, it's a huge portion is forgivable, which is in essence free money. Someone added the fact to me, and when I say someone, is actually like a CPA business partner that I have. He added that like it looks like it's not going to be taxable, meaning the money. He said usually if you get a loan that's forgiven, he said typically you would get like a 1099 for that, and you would pay taxes on that money. I was like, whoa. So you mean there wouldn't even be taxes on the part that's forgiven or whatever? He said apparently. I was like, so how are these loans apparently are like non-recourse. They're like, oh, don't worry about collateral. We don't care. We're not worried about if you have collateral, non-recourse. Oh, you have. I mean, I'm just like, how is this going to work? So, and people need this money like now, right? So, we're talking in the next 30 days. People need this cash. This is going to be. I hate to say, there's going to be so much fraud that goes into this.
But so,
I mean, I hate
Hey, I
to.
gotta go, guys. I gotta go.
All right, man.
Apply for this stuff. I'll see y'all later.
Legitimate question is like, at what point is it as a small business owner? I'm, we're going to hit our struggle point. We're not there yet, and
Yeah.
I'm just being very candid. At what point is it? Do I say, okay, it's now my turn to take advantage of this? And at what point do I say my duty as American is to not take advantage of this? Because our world is very different from. I mean, if I don't take advantage of it, am I shooting myself in the foot? But by taking advantage of it, is that essentially, and I don't necessarily need it, let's say, is that blood money? Am I taking blood money?
Yes.
I don't know. To me, that's a very difficult challenge. That's a brutal situation. And I don't want to just be a jerk, but at the same time, I don't want to go under. I don't want to, suddenly close up shop because I wasn't. And in the film business, you are a jerk. That's how you make it. If you're a producer, your job is to get the movie made for the cheapest amount possible. It doesn't matter how many backs you step on to get there. And anybody that wants to argue that, I'll argue it and give you evidence all day long that proves that point. But how do you deal with that? Like, that's my thing.
Well, so like at the end of it, I guess, it's not a grant. So at the end of the day, you are signing a deal, especially if you sign up for the SBA loan. Yeah. I mean, you're signing up for a deal with the U.S. government. If they so choose to forgive or don't forgive, I mean, I wouldn't advise anyone to go in being like, oh yeah, sweet, this is going to happen. No, man. I mean, you're definitely inking a deal with the U.S. government at the end of the day, and so you're tied to whatever those terms are. Yeah. So we are just trying to do our due diligence and like sign up and register for the stuff, and then even if we're offered stuff and we don't want it, don't need it, say no. But like, we just want to put ourselves in the position to be able to have availability if it does like pan out to be a good like decision for us to take those loans or whatever. So
Very cool.
that's how we're looking at it.
Well, hey guys, we're just past an hour now.
Yeah, man.
I kind of draw the line in an hour because I don't think anybody's going to watch for
hear
an
you.
hour. But as always, I mean, this has been awesome. And for anybody that is still watching, we got a few people on here. Basically, the whole point of this is open conversation. You can click the link in the video comments or in the post and join the video at any time. We'll be doing this regularly. And it was awesome hanging out with everybody again.
Sweet.
Sure.
Thanks for letting us in, man. Thanks for letting us into your show.
Yeah.
I got to
All
hang
right,
out
guys.
this weekend.
Let us know what you discover tonight, and then we'll make this
man.
way better than what Drew's doing.
Yeah, we're just gonna. Oh yeah, we're going.
Shamelessly, while we were doing this, I posted a premiere at 6 p.m. of the most expensive short film I ever made. That
Love
made
it.
So if you want to watch it, I might do a little stream before or after. I'm not sure yet. It depends on the family situation. But if you guys want to watch that, head over to the Craft Show page if you're bored and there's something new for you to watch. It's sci-fi. If you like sci-fi and steampunk, it's right there.
I'm gonna check it out. It's cool.
There you go.
Sweet.
Awesome.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
See y'all later. Take care.
Yeah.
See you, buddy. Enjoy.